Hello and welcome to our webinar, Romantic Reads. I'm Donna Seaman, editor Adult Books at Booklist. Before we begin, I'd like to go over some technical details. To resize the slides, look to the magnifying glass icons located to the left of the slides. There you can increase or decrease the size and select how the slides will appear. If you lose audio or would like to change the way you're connected to it, look at the bottom of your screen for a circle with 3 dots. Clicking that icon will open a menu with an audio connection option. If you experience any issues during the webinar, click on the FAQ webinars in the drop-down menu at the top of your WebEx screen. There you'll find a PDF with answers to commonly asked webinar questions. The audience is currently in listen-only mode, but we welcome any questions you have. On the right side of your screen is a control panel with an area at the bottom for Q&A. Simply type your question into the field and click Send. Attendees can see questions asked during the webinar and the answers provided. Links to today's slides and title list were sent directly to you from WebEx at the start of this webinar, but you can also download the slides at any time by copying the URLs on this screen into your web browser. This afternoon, all attendees will receive an email containing a link to today's slide presentation, the title list, and the certificate of completion. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Margaret Coffey, Senior Manager, Schools and Libraries at Sourcebooks, Lainey Mays, Library Marketing Assistant at HarperCollins Publishers, Pamela Oste, Marketing Manager at Harlequin, and Jessie Edwards, Marketing and PR Manager at Romance Writers of America. What a great group. And first, it's Margaret Coffey. Margaret describes herself as a senior publishing professional, having toiled in both sales and marketing for decades. Before joining Sourcebooks 4 years ago, she worked at a variety of publishers on such properties as Harry Potter and The Hunger Games. Margaret has traveled with the beloved original stuffed animal Winnie the Pooh. A voracious reader, you can most likely find Margaret reading on a plane headed to a conference or to see one of her customers. Welcome, Margaret.
Donna, thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. Sourcebooks is so excited to be part of Booklist Romance Reads webcast, and I'm looking forward to telling you about favorite authors and new series. You can follow us on social media, sign up for one of our newsletters, and Skype with our romance authors. My colleague Stephanie is developing new materials for book clubs. Please contact her with requests for materials or to receive galleys, and you will be entered to win a bundle of swag. All right, here's a few of my wonderful favorites from the past few months. If you haven't read Kingdom Exiles, please email me at the end of the webcast. I'll be happy to send you copies. We have puppies who just could not be more adorable. And now let's look at some new slides. All right, it's holiday time. We're publishing new holiday titles for every genre: cowboy, contemporary, Regency, paranormal, and puppies. Happy holidays. The one for you is the highly anticipated 4th book in Ronnie Lauren's unforgettable contemporary romance, The Ones Who Got Away series, about survivors of a high school shooting who reunite years later. Kincaid Breslin wasn't supposed to survive that fateful night at Longacre when so many died, including her boyfriend, but survive she did. She doesn't know why she got the chance, but now she takes life by the horns and doesn't let anyone stand in her way. Ashton Isaacs was her best friend when disaster struck all those years ago, but he chose to run as far away as he could. Now fate has brought him back to town, and Ash doesn't know how to cope with his feelings for Kincaid and his grief over their lost friendship. For Ash has been carrying secrets, and he knows that once Kincaid learns the truth, he'll lose any chance he might have had with the only woman he ever loved. A family who slays together stays together. Meet a band of bounty hunter sisters and the men who steal away with their hearts in the romantic suspense series Rocky Mountain Bounty Hunters from best-selling author Katie Ruggles. In Risk It All, the 2nd book in the series, Kara Pax never wanted to be a bounty hunter. Don't get her wrong, she's just as capable as her sisters, but if Kara wants her dreams of escaping the family business to come true, She's got one last job to finish. Only problem is she doesn't think her bounty is guilty. Henry is a man with innocence to prove. When he realizes that Kara believes him, he'll do anything to keep her out of harm's way. Escaping criminals and dodging cops might not be the best time to fall in love, but Henry and Kara won't give up, not when there's a chance at a new life ahead. Welcome to the contemporary romance series, Blessing, Georgia, where love is always right around the corner. In Sharon Sala's 9th book in the series, The Way Back to You, Sully Raines makes the shocking discovery that he was adopted. The search for his birth mother leads him to the small town of Blessings, Georgia, where Sully discovers his childhood crush, Melissa. Melissa moved away from their hometown when they were teens, and he never knew where she went after that. When Melissa is pulled from her flaming car, the last person she expected to see is her first love. The attraction between the two ignites. Can the search for answers about Sully's past be the path to their future? CASA has many new series coming up, and I'm thrilled to introduce you to these first in series. For Western fans, A Cowboy Never Quits is the first book in a new contemporary romance cowboy series by USA Today bestselling author Cindy Matson, featuring a teen therapy and horse rescue ranch. Single mother Jessica Cook doesn't know what to do with her daughter Chloe. In an attempt to stop Chloe from making the same mistake she did when she was younger, she makes a deal with a horse therapy ranch for troubled youth. But when Wade Dawson walks in, Jessica finds that she's the one in trouble. Closed-off Wade Dawson is no stranger to tough love, making him the go-to guy when it comes to handling the teens at his family's ranch. So when kind-hearted Jessica comes looking for help, all he wants to do is turn her away. But the more he wants to talk to her, the more he wants to let her in. Can she be the key to helping the cowboy who helps everyone but himself? You and your patrons might enjoy several of our other new cowboy titles as well. Lean on Me is the first in an emotional, poignant, romantic women's fiction series by acclaimed inspirational romance author Pat Simmons. Tabitha is a successful pharmaceutical rep caring for her aunt with Alzheimer's. Her once organized lifestyle is in disarray and her patience is tested. When elderly Aunt Tweet keeps showing up on Marcus Whittingham's porch, Marcus is outraged at what he perceives as elder neglect. But the more he learns about Tabitha's challenges caring for Aunt Tweet as she deteriorates, the more determined he is to help. Friendship blossoms into a relationship filled with love, faith, and partnership. Life is easier when you have someone to lean on. Cold Nose, Warm Heart. Great title, right? First in a fun, funny contemporary romance series about the passions and perils of a local dog park in Miami's trendy South Beach. Caleb Donovan has one shot to redeem his family name. All he has to do is take a rundown apartment building and turn it into luxury condos. Unfortunately, that would also turn the local dog park into a parking lot, and the building's residents aren't having it. Caleb is faced with outright revolt, led by building manager Riley Carson and her canine side trick. The residents and dog park locals are there every step of the way to protect their beloved real estate. For Caleb, what should have been a slam dunk is shaping up to be a monumental challenge, not helped by the mutual attraction that has Riley and Caleb longing for each other when it would be so much easier to just stay enemies. Lucky Chance Cowboy is the second in Terry Ann Staley's heartwarming contemporary Western romance series where dogs and people get a second chance. A devastating explosion took almost everything from Army Sergeant Marcus Talbot, but he's optimistic that if he works hard enough, he'll be back in the field in no time. In the meantime, he's recovering at the Big Chance Dog Ranch and learning to train a support dog. Emma Stern has her hands full working full-time and caring for her aging grandfather. She has no time for Marcus and is flirting, sexy as he might be. But every time Emma thinks she's reached the end of her rope, Marcus is there to lend a hand. Maybe there's more to the handsome playboy than she thought. Whiteout is the first gripping new romantic suspense series from award-winning author Adriana Anders. With a storm coming and a madman on the loose, every next step could be their last. Angel Smith is ready to leave Antarctica for a second chance at life, but on what was meant to be her final day, the research station is attacked. Hunted and scared, she and glaciologist Ford Cooper barely make it out with their lives, only to realize that in a place this remote, there's nowhere left to run. Isolated in the middle of a long frozen winter with a madman at their heels, they must fight to survive in the most inhospitable and beautiful place on earth. As their pursuers close in and their partnership burns bright and hot, they will stop at nothing to make it out alive. Marie Hart's new standalone, The Kissing Game, will be in trade paper format. Rena Jackson is a diehard romantic, and she's one kiss away from finding Mr. Right. She's had her eye on Alex Heller for a while. He's got that tall, dark, and handsome thing down pat, but he guards his heart well, and Rena's tired of waiting for him to notice her. With Valentine's Day just around the corner, she decides it's time to forget about Alex and find her own Mr. Right. But that's when he makes her a bet that involves the hottest kiss she's ever had. Calling on Quinn is the first in a thrilling new Own Voices interracial contemporary romance series from best-selling author Blue Sapphire. Alicia Rhodes has had a tough year. Now she's ready to move on from her troubled past and find happiness in the present. But when handsome Quinn Blackheart walks into her driving school and her heart, her troubles might just be starting. Quinn comes from a sprawling Irish family. As the oldest of three brothers, he's a control freak who loves checklists, and the gorgeous driving instructor just earned a place at the top of his to-do list. But when the ghosts from his past come back to threaten Alicia, he will stop at nothing to keep the woman he loves safe. An Inconvenient Duke is a sizzling new Regency series from award-winning author Anna Harrington. Marcus Braddock, Duke of Hampton and former general, is back from war and faced with the mourning the death of his beloved sister, Elise. Marcus believes his sister's death wasn't an accident, and he's determined to learn the truth, starting with Danielle, the beautiful daughter of a baron and his sister's best friend. Danielle is keeping deadly secrets of her own. She's dedicated her life to charity that helps abused women, the same charity Elise was working for the night she died. When Danielle's work puts her life in danger, Marcus comes to her rescue, but Danielle may not need rescuing. Best-selling author Mary Janice Davidson is back with an exciting series featuring mama werebears and foster shifters they'll protect at any cost. In Bears Behaving Badly, werebear shifter, really say werebear several times fast, it just doesn't work. Shifter Annette Gersey is a caseworker for the Interspecies Placement Agency. When a selectively mute and freakishly strong werewolf is put in her custody, Annette will stop at nothing to uncover the young girl's secrets. Bear shifter David Auberon's top priority is the continued survival of the shifter species. So when a 16-year-old werewolf's actions threaten to expose the secret of shifters to humans, he will go to any length to stop that from happening, even if it means going up against the infuriating, stubborn, and sexy werebear determined to protect the young werewolf. And finally, meet Jace in this fresh take on the country music scene for lovers of contemporary cowboy romance. Jace Black went from an oil-filled roughneck to an overnight singing sensation. Now he's working on a duet with country music legend Crystal King. The more time he spends with Crystal, the more he finds himself falling for her. He just needs a way to show her he's more interested in her than he is in making a name for himself. Crystal grew up on stage and in the spotlight. No matter how golden her life appears, her past left deep wounds that won't heal. But Jace makes her wish things were different. To do that, she'll have to risk letting him in, and that might be too big a risk for her battered heart to take. If you'd like to read a few of our recent titles, we have a promotion for free books in conjunction with Overdrive. Just go to the link provided and download free titles. Thank you so much for listening, and please email me any questions or gallery requests. Have a great day.
Thank you, Margaret. That was fantastic. And now it's Lainey, Library Marketing Assistant at HarperCollins. One of Lainey's favorite things is listening to podcasts. She produces the Library Love Fest podcast, which brings librarians and great books together. You can listen to author interviews, conversations with editors, and upcoming book presentations from HarperCollins. You can listen to this podcast at soundcloud.com/librarylovefest. Welcome, Lainey.
Hi, guys. Well, I apologize now for how many hearts I used because I had a lot of fun with it. But I'm Lainey, and just a little housekeeping. We have everything on our website at librarylovefest.com, and you can find all that information here, newsletter, and how to find the podcast. You can go there. And all of our social is listed, and on our website and blog to the left. And I have to talk about the podcast for a minute because obviously I like them. We do have a lot of romance on our podcast, so you should check out How to Write a Romance, which with the Avon editors, and on our blog you can find a list that they gave us. If you're just starting romance, you can go there and learn where to begin with their top 10, so that's exciting. And How to Write a Romance is just a little book that gives you prompts. And then we had Sarah McLean, of course. We all love Sarah, and she had a conversation with a librarian on the podcast as well. So check that out. And we have a rom-com guide that we just put together. So if you want this, please email me, and I can send you a link or a physical one. It's a really great wrap-up of what we're doing and what's to come. And just before I start, a few that are coming soon that we're really excited about. Meg Cabot has one called No Judgments, and it's on the podcast as well, another interview I did with her. And also Facebook Live. You can check it out there as well. But Don't You Forget About Me is available now. Today it came out. So that one's a really fun rom-com. And we have Lori Wilde and Julianne Long, too. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. Everyone is in love with this one. Everywhere we go, we hear so many fun, great things about this. It's got 3-star reviews already from Booklist, Kirkus, and PW. And it was one of the most anticipated books of fall 2019 for PW and BookPage. And so in this story, we see Chloe Brown, and she's had a near-miss death experience, and she decides that this is not the time for her to be scared. She's going to get out from under this really safe life she's been living because she has a fibromyalgia. So she's really just trying to keep herself safe, not hurt any more than she has to, but she's decided that's not the way to live her life, and she's going to make a list to get a life. So she gets this life by making a list of things she's going to do, including moving out. So she starts there, moving out from her family's estate because they are pretty rich. And she moves in, and her superintendent, Redford Morgan, of course, she has to enlist him to help with this list. And he is just kind of dark, and he's an artist, but he also has a motorcycle, so of course riding motorcycles on the list, so you got to have him to help. But it's really steamy and funny and witty at the same time. I laughed out loud at internal monologues going on, but really it's about not living the perfect life, but living the perfect life for you and deciding what that is for you. So each of these books are a standalone, but the next book, it's going to be her sisters. The next one's Take a Hint, Dani Brown. She's an academic, and she's falling in love with someone who loves romance novels, so there's some steamy library scenes I've heard. So that's funny. But Talia's a big believer in writing romances that are for marginalized identities, and they need honest, positive representation. So we're really excited about this one, and it's just great overall. The next one is Love Her or Lose Her. So you may know Tessa Bailey from her first book, which was Fix Her Up in this series. Not her first book, but her first book in the series, Fix Her Up, and it was a Library Reads June 2019 winner. This is continuing on the series. It all has to do with construction and fixing houses up. But this is Rosie and Dominic Vega, their story. They are married, and after their marriage becomes kind of routine, Rosie decides she wants to figure out if her life has more to it because they got married really young. And Dominic has to decide if he's going to help himself get back into the marriage, which it's a no-brainer for him. He wants to, and she's really surprised at what he's willing to put in. So they go to counseling. And what's really unique about this rom-com is that they're already married. And I think Tessa even in the beginning of the book says it's kind of an odd thing for a rom-com because they're already in love, but finding them back in love is really sweet. And, they remodel their relationship. And this one, there's the next and last book is Bethany and Wes's story, who you kind of see in this one, too. So have to check that out. If you're a fan of HGTV, this is for you. Or if you want a blend of, like, a traditional romance with some rom-coms, it's so fun, and I really loved this one. So next is My Fake Rake by Ava Lee. This is our Regency romance fans. This is for you. This is a new series from Ava inspired by 80s movies. So each of the books is going to take a 80s movie and usually gender flip them, but really do a fun spin on that. And this first one is a mix of weird science and Can't Buy Me Love. But other ones are going to include mixes on Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Working Girl. So I just think it's a really fun twist on the usual story. So in this book, we see Lady Grace Wyatt. She focuses on being this wallflower and more of her scientific pursuits, but she sees her dream man from across the room and decides that to get his attention, she's going to build a perfect man to make him jealous. And she uses her colleague, anthropologist Sebastian Holloway, to build this person. And as time goes on, of course, Can't Buy Me Love, they fall in love. but he's helping her get someone else. So now it's not even a question of falling in love. It's like, how do we keep each other? It's really great for, bookish people, which we all love. They spend a lot of time in the library. Of course we love that. And there's a cinnamon roll hero, just gooey and sweet, but it's the fake dating to lovers, and it's gender flipped, which is always a fun, interesting way to see it, and perfect for the new generation of rom-com readers. It's very witty. Next is On the Corner of Hope and Maine by Beverly Jenkins. So libraries love Beverly, and she's a USA Today bestselling author and an NAACP nominee. And this continues her beloved Blessing series. It's set in Henry Adams, Kansas. Although it is a series continuation, you can totally read them as standalones. But in this one in particular, you see some beloved characters return if you do follow the series. You see Trent July, who's going to give up being mayor, and Barrett Payne, who's a former Marine, wants to take the job over, but so does his wife, Sheila. So their teenage son, Preston, gets caught in the middle. Who's going to win? And is it time for a woman to be mayor? But then, of course, that's not all the drama. You also have the recovering alcoholic Mal July, who continues his reparations to people in the community he's betrayed. So that brings on an extra layer of story. And so it's all about community and familial love, but you also have this romance between a married couple. And you can, like I said, you can read it as standalone, don't worry, but if you're a fan of small-town women's fiction or authors like Susan Mallory or Susan Wiggs, this is perfect. And we love Beverly. Beverly Jenkins does great, diverse stories, and they usually have a rich historic backdrop. So very excited for her new Blessings novel. Next is Sweet Talkin' Lover, I like saying talkin', by Tracy Livesey. This is a brand new book in a 4-book series, and it's about 4 lifelong friends embarking on girls' trips, and there's laughter, and there's tears, and there's triumphs. You kind of get a really deep connection with these people, and it's Tracy's Avon print debut, so we're excited about that. But these all 4 books are going to be small-town romances. They're diverse. She usually writes about strong black women. If you're a fan of Alyssa Cole or Jill Shalvis or Brenda Jackson, perfect for you. And this book is kind of a Friday Night Light feel. In this story, you find out about Kayla Harris. She's grieving her grandfather's death, and she really puts herself into her work 24/7. She works in marketing, and she's going to go to get her promotion. She's going to move to a small town, and she's going to put a small factory that's just unprofitable out of business. But she then meets the really hot mayor, Wyatt, who does not want one of the biggest employers in his town to go away. So he's going to use his sneaky tactics to try to get her to not do this, but, they're both stubborn, and they have to decide if, what's the greater in the grand scheme of things, and if they're willing to give their all to each other. Her heroines are always really sexy and smart, and they always get their HEA, a happy ending, happily ever after. So this one will be really fun to see the 4 different friends going on their way and see their relationship with each other as well. So next we have Hunting for a Highlander by Lindsay Sands. So this is Scottish historical. It's the next in the Highlander Bride series. 4 brothers have already found their brides, but now we have 3 to go. And in this one, Geordie returns to find just a swath of brides at his home. Thanks to his meddling family, they want him to get married, but he only has eyes on Lady Dwen after he sees her climbing a tree. And she thinks she's really not into the whole usual looking type for him, or what all of the lovers are around. She's not like long-legged and slender and flirty, but he thinks that she's just beautiful, but she has this great honesty that catches his eye. So it is a 8th in the series, but it can be read as a standalone, and it's familial and family-oriented and funny. And a quick shout-out to Lindsay's Argeno series. It's number 30. Immortal Born is coming, and that's exciting if you're a big Supernatural fan. She's celebrating big milestones, so we're really excited for everything she's doing. She's got Supernatural, but this Scottish historical, we all love that, and look at that cover. So next is Our Stop by Laura Jane Williams. So This is a romance of near misses. The meet cute is usually the main starting point for the book, but this is really its biggest obstacle in this book. And Laura is a columnist for Red Magazine, and in this she takes a modern urban love story and placed in London, and we see Nadia, who's always taking the 7:30 train, or 07:30 if you're in London, mostly. She doesn't always catch it, but when she does, that's the train she's on. And Daniel sees her every day because he's always on the train. He can't sleep after he's had a death in the family. And Nadia hears about a mysterious post in the paper, and all of her friends tell her it has to be you, and she decides maybe it is, and the post is on the slide. It's very cute. And so you just see these near misses. They don't ever really meet until a ways on in the book, which I find is exciting because you get to know them not in this romance bubble. You really get to know them as people and how they would work together. And you cheer when they finally meet at the end. And I felt like I was watching a movie play out. It's really fun and sweet. And the Galleys Fun Story have pink lining on the outside pages, which I just think is really cool too. So last, I'm going to talk about Chasing Cassandra by Lisa Kleypas. This is another historical romance from Rita Award-winning author, both in historical and contemporary, Lisa Kleypas. And this is the next in the Ravenel series. Again, all of the books I'm talking about can be read as separate standalones, but if you are a fan of the Ravenels, you're going to be so excited. I know fans all over are really excited for this one. Not only showing and it's out in February, and we already have 6,000 pre-orders. Everyone is excited, but one reason is because the hero in this story has really been the anti-hero throughout the whole series, so you kind of get to see his play out, and everyone is just ready for it. So in this one, you have railway magnate Tom Severin. He has everything except for Lady Cassandra, and she wants to marry for love, and he just wants to win at all things in life. So you get to see their love story play out, and like I said, anti-hero becoming the hero. It's really an exciting one. There was a cover reveal on Rachel Hall's Instagram, and we're so excited about this one. Lisa always does a great job. So before I go, just a quick, if I had more time, you have those slides so you can look into those. And then that's all for me, so thank you.
Oh, that was great, Lainey. Thank you so much. Romance is so inventive. It's amazing. Okay. With 15 years' experience in book publishing, Pamela Oste is the product manager for Graydon House Books, Harlequin's imprint dedicated to publishing book club-worthy women's fiction with strong commercial appeal. She has previously worked for Penguin Random House Canada as a publicity and marketing manager in its Young Readers division. Pamela lives in Toronto. Follow her at Pamela Oste, her name. Thank you so much, Pamela. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for logging on and joining in today. It's so wonderful to be here. I'm filling in for my colleague, Lynette Kim, who you probably have been in contact with, or she's probably reached out to you. She's our library marketing manager, and I'll be sure to include her contact details on the last slide of the presentation. But until then, here we go. I'm going to start with The Widow of Pale Harbor. This is a Graydon House title, one of Harlequin's newer imprints, and it's by Hester Fox, on sale September 17th. Hester is known for The Witch of Willow Hall, her previous title. And this, The Widow of Pale Harbor, still in the vein of historical Gothic fiction that is fast becoming her trademark genre. The novel is peppered with mentions of Edgar Allan Poe's stories and poems, and takes place during what would have been Poe's lifetime in Maine in 1846. The novel really delivers atmosphere, romance, and mystery. And we're launching it actually at a time which marks the 170th anniversary of Poe's death, so it's very timely, and it's just a perfect novel for cozy fall reading and perfectly timed to Halloween. Comps for this title include Stacey Hall's The Familiars and Sarah Perry's The Essex Serpent. And it centers on a widow who moves into a small town. And when a series of strange occurrences happen, which seem to be inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's stories, this widow is targeted as a possible murderer and a witch. So very Gothic, creepy story. Next up, something completely different. So you probably know Gina Showalter. She's known, of course, for her incredible paranormal romances, including her best-selling Lords of the Underworld series. She writes, of course, for both adults and teens. With this new series, Gods of War, she's branched off and created an equally exciting and very sexy series featuring Shadows and Ice that we released in November 2018, and the second book in the series, Frost and Flame. The series is really filled with what Gina does best: alpha heroes, amazing heroines, and an incredible and complicated love story. Any fans of paranormal romance will love this new series, and Frost and Flame, I should note, is available as a library hardcover. It goes on sale September 17th. Great comps for Frost and Flame would be Gina's Shadow and Ice, or her novels Can't Let Go and Can't Hardly Breathe. And then next up is Met Her Match by Jude Devereaux. Also on sale in mid-September, Met Her Match is New York Times bestselling author Jude Devereaux's second novel of contemporary women's fiction for Armira imprint. It's set in her beloved fictional town of Summer Hill, Virginia. Met Her Match examines the tensions between the wealthy townspeople and the less entitled people who work and play at the local summer resort. This is really told with humor and heart. Jude's fiction continues to shine. And just for some quick stats on her following and her amazing success, Jude Devereaux has over 80,000 followers on Facebook alone and has 43 New York Times bestsellers under her belt, so pretty phenomenal. There are also more than 60 million copies of her books in print worldwide. Next up, Sheila Roberts, and we're going to fast forward a little bit to the holidays. So this is Christmas from the Heart by USA Today bestselling author Sheila Roberts, and where she takes us to a small snowbound town where a young woman fights to save her family's charity that brings Christmas to families in need, and a stranded millionaire who loses his heart and finds the true meaning of Christmas. It's also available in a limited edition library hardcover format. Sheila's holiday perennial favorite, On Strike for Christmas, was made into a movie for the Lifetime Movie Network, and her novel, The 9 Lives of Christmas, was made into a movie for Hallmark. And this novel is already under consideration for adaptation on the Hallmark Network. So for any of your patrons who love Hallmark Christmas movies, this is perfect for them. Next, we have Coming Home for Christmas. Now, this is by Rayanne Thane, who needs very little introduction. We've been watching Rayanne Thane grow over the past few years, and she just keeps getting better and better. Readers really love her small town settings with their irresistible love stories woven within, and Coming Home for Christmas won't disappoint. Rayanne is known for her heartwarming romances that celebrate small town bonds and family ties. Her books impart a message of hope and community in the face of adversity, which makes her the perfect choice for any fans of Debbie Macomber, Robin Carr, or Susan Mallory. And as a bonus, everyone loves romance and Christmas, and Thane really delivers it in this novel. This is the last book in her Haven Point series, and I would comp it to Debbie Macomber's Christmas Comes to Cedar Cove or Sarah Morgan's The Christmas Sisters. It is also available in limited edition library hardcover format. Next up, we have A Wedding in December by Sarah Morgan. Sarah Morgan has been winning over readers for the past few years, but her release last year, The Christmas Sisters, was really phenomenal and brought her a lot of well-deserved attention. A Wedding in December follows the White family as they embark on their most intense family Christmas yet. Long-kept secrets and tensions bubble to the surface against the backdrop of youngest daughter Rosie's whirlwind winter wedding. Sorry, try saying that 3 times fast. This is funny, heartwarming, relatable, and romantic. It's Sarah Morgan at her festive best. And this title is also available in limited edition library hardcover format. And now for something completely different. We have Strangers She Knows by Christina Dodd. This is for fans of Nora Roberts, Sandra Brown, and Linda Howard. Christina Dodd is a well-known name in the romantic suspense genre with more than 10 New York Times bestsellers under her belt. Strangers She Knows is the chilling finale to the Cape Charade trilogy. Christina's novels have received rave reviews and endorsements from major influencers in the trade, and her last 4 titles, including Dead Girl Running, received starred Booklist reviews, as well as reviews in Library Journal. And she's had back-to-back years on the Amazon Best Book of the Year list, so the accolades have just been phenomenal. Her last novel, What Doesn't Kill Her, received a star review from Booklist as well, where they compared Dodd's protagonist to Jack Reacher, but referred to Jack Reacher as a slacker in comparison. Her protagonist was also favorably compared to Villanelle from the series Killing Eve, so pretty high praise. This is available in limited edition library hardcover format as well. And then next up, Meant to Be Yours by Susan Mallory. Everybody loves Susan Mallory. This goes on sale October 22nd. You're probably familiar with Susan Mallory. She's, of course, the #1 New York Times best-selling and multi-award-winning author and has had USA Today bestseller placements multiple times throughout her career. She's known for her romantic, funny, and relatable stories, and Meant to Be Yours is exactly that. Fans of Debbie Macomber will love Mallory's small-town romance, riddled with humor and lots of love. Meant to Be Yours is the 5th title in the Happily Inked series. You'll see the previous titles there, that boasts a small town that is a wedding destination hub. This title is also available in limited edition library hardcover format. Next up, we have Brenda Novak, Christmas in Silver Springs. New York Times bestselling author Brenda Novak's Silver Springs series continues with this Christmas story set in everyone's favorite small town. Fans of Robin Carr, Susan Wiggs, and Cheryl Woods will devour Brenda's emotional, dramatic, contemporary romance series. Brenda, just to note, is the New York Times bestselling author of over 60 books with over 90,000 followers on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This title, too, is available in limited edition library hardcover format. Next up, we have Kelly Rimmer. Now, Kelly is an author that began with Harlequin publishing under the Graydon House imprint. You might be familiar with her titles Before I Let You Go and The Things We Cannot Say, which are more commercial fiction. But she's new to HQN, our romance imprint, releasing her first book with us in June of 2019, titled Unexpected, about an unexpected pregnancy. And then she followed up with these 2 titles. These are part of her Startup in the City series. So think a sexier, slightly edgier version of the television show Friends. The editorial is edgy, urban, and romantic, and perfect for readers who love Kristen Proby, Jennifer Probst, and Jill Shawless. Both of these titles are available in limited edition library hardcover format. Next up is Husband Material by Emily Belden. This is on sale at the end of the year, December 30th. In Emily's first novel, Hot Mess, she mined the female millennial experience in a tale of dining, drama, and deceit. Now, in her signature edgy voice, she returns with Husband Material. This is a novel about a young widow's discovery of her late husband's secret and her journey toward hope and second chance at love. This is firmly rom-com. It's perfect for fans of Sophie Kinsella, but set in the tech world. Emily Belden is a food journalist, social media marketer, and storyteller, and she is also the author of 86, a memoir about unforgettable men, mistakes, and meals. This is a great rom-com read. Next up, this is a lovely little book, perfect for booksellers, for librarians, anyone who loves books. It's called The Little Bookshop on the Seine by Rebecca Raisin. This is also a great big love letter to Paris, to Christmas, to quirky bookstores, and of course to happily ever afters. Bookshop owner Sarah Smith is offered the opportunity to exchange bookshops with her new Parisian friend for 6 months. Readers who love Josie Silver's One Day in December and Jenny Colgan's The Bookshop on the Corner will devour this. And for anyone who loves the Hollywood blockbuster The Holiday will find this book unputdownable. Next up, we have a couple of our teen titles from Inkyard Press. And remember to join our Booklist webinar on December 3rd, where we'll be going into our full teen lineup. But I'll quickly tell you about these two titles. Every Other Weekend is Abigail Johnson's story of two teens who meet and bond when they're forced to visit their respective parents in neighboring apartments every other weekend. Soon, the weekends that Adam used to dread and that Jolene simply endured to start to become the best part of their lives. And A Love-Hate Thing is the debut by Whitley Grandison. We first discovered her online, where she is an absolute phenom on Wattpad. Her Inkyard debut is the story of an it girl who finds her summer essentially hijacked when her wealthy parents take in a troubled boy from the other side of the tracks. The two start out as enemies, but in not all that time spent in close quarters eventually turns them into something much more. And then finally, two titles, just quickly, Country Strong, Linda Lau Miller, #1 New York Times bestselling author Linda Lau Miller returns with the first book in a brand new Western romance trilogy, and we couldn't be more excited. And last, Forbidden Promises by Sinecia Williams. We're so excited to include Sinecia in our library hardcover lineup. She's an award-winning author and own voices author who is writing about a powerful African-American family. Forbidden Promises is the sexy, passionate, and intriguing first book in a trilogy about the Robideau family, a wealthy and powerful African-American family in North Carolina. So think Dynasty meets early Brenda Jackson with secrets and family drama rife throughout. Thank you very much. That's all for me. And there's Lynette's contact information. Feel free to be in touch with any questions or anything at all.
Terrific. Thank you so much. So much to think about. And here's Jessie Edwards. Jessie began working for Romance Writers of America in August 2017. As marketing and PR manager, Jessie handles press inquiries and outreach, as well as our WA social media. Jessie graduated from Berry College in 2009 with a bachelor's in English and a minor in public relations. She has worked in romance publicity since 2010, and we're so happy to have you here, Jessie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for that introduction, Donna, and thanks, everyone, for having me on today. As Donna mentioned, I work at Romance Writers of America, and if you're unfamiliar with our organization, we are a nonprofit trade association for career-focused romance writers. We have more than 9,000 members and more than 100 local and online chapters. And so for my presentation, part of the presentation today, it's a little bit different than everyone else's, but I want to talk about a couple things. First up is our Rita Awards. And again, if you're unfamiliar, the Ritas are the premier award in the romance genre. They recognize excellence in published romance novels and novellas. We generally have about 2,000 entries each year across 13 categories, and you'll see the 2019 Rita winners on your screen there. this year we actually had a couple of milestones I want to point out in our winners. We had our first two Black authors to win a Rita Award, Kennedy Ryan for Long Shot in Contemporary Romance Long, and M. Malone for Bad Blood in Romance Novella, and our first South Asian author to win, Nisha Sharma, for My So-Called Bollywood Life in Young Adult Romance. And obviously we're very excited for these authors, but this is a long time coming, and we're very focused on increasing the diversity and equity in the award. And one way we are working on doing that is expanding the preliminary round judging pool for our 2020 contest to include romance-loving librarians, booksellers, and reviewers. So if any of you listening are romance-loving librarians and you'd like to apply, or you know of colleagues who would like to apply, I very much encourage it. I'm going to share the link for the judge questionnaire with Booklist, and they've offered to include it in their follow-up email to you. But you can also email me for it or find it on our website at www.rwa.org. The deadline to submit it is October 20th. For the 2019 awards, the theme was Romance Trailblazers, and we had some really amazing speeches during the ceremony from some romance pioneers like Sandra Kitt, Rochelle Allairs, Radcliffe, and just so many other legends were just all on stage at our conference in New York in July, which was just amazing. And if you're interested, you can find a replay of the ceremony on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/romancewriters. But I also encourage you to check out our Trailblazers timeline, which was created by some of our members, including the Rita MC this year, Sarah McLean. And it's a great resource that traces significant romance milestones from 1970 to now. And you can also find that on our website. And then moving on from the Ritas, I wanted to mention a few things we have coming up. First, our Educational Programming Committee, which is called RWAU or RWA University, is putting together a lineup of webinars specifically geared toward librarians, which will debut in the next few months. I don't have an exact date on when the first one will be scheduled, but we'll be promoting it. And I think Amy Alessio, who is a librarian and blogger and romance lover, will be the first presenter. Yeah, I think so. And the committee is also putting together a lot more downloadable content for librarians, informational and educational content to help you learn more about romance and the genre and the popular authors, the new trends, things like that, and how to connect with authors. If you haven't been able to reach out to them. Anyway, this year's committee is really looking to expand our offerings, and if there's anything you particularly want to see or think would be helpful to have from RWA, I hope you'll please email me so I can pass it along to the committee. And some of this content will be available exclusively for our affiliate members, and some, like the webinars, will be available for everyone, but we'll have one price for members. And many times that price is free, and one price for non-members. And so affiliate membership is our membership category for librarians and booksellers who support the genre, and it's $10 annually. And then finally, just a quick update on where we're going to be next year. RWA will have a booth at PLA in Nashville, and we will once again be hosting Librarians Day at our annual conference, which is in San Francisco next year, July 29th through August 1st. And Librarians Day is usually the last day of the conference, though if librarians attend for the entire event, there's a discounted registration fee. And we always have a meal, workshops, and an amazing keynote speaker. And the 2019 speaker was Alyssa Cole, and she just knocked it out of the park, standing room only, standing ovation, and you can listen to her full speech online at our website right now. And that's all I have. So thank you for letting me take up some of your time.
Thank you so much, Jessie. It's so exciting to see Romance Writers of America do all these new exciting initiatives. Thank you for mentioning Amy Alessio. Readers of Booklist Romance section will recognize Amy's name as one of our top reviewers. And we look forward to seeing all of you at PLA. Booklist will certainly be there with our booth. A big thank you today to all of our presenters. Each of your presentations was exciting and illuminating in really exciting, fresh ways. I'm so happy to see this genre evolving as it should, along with all of us. This afternoon, all attendees will receive an email containing a link to today's slide presentation, title list, and certificate of completion. You will also receive a notice when the video archive of today's webinar is posted at www.booklistonline.com/webinars. Please visit the same URL to learn more about our other webinars, view an archive of the past, register for upcoming webinars like the ones you see here. All great subjects. If you haven't already, please be sure to check out the Booklist Reader, where Booklist contributors are posting weekly about all things books and library land. For Booklist, September is Romance Month. You will see lots and lots of romance postings on here, including interviews with romance authors, including Minerva Spencer, conducted by John Charles, and lots of other material for all age readers. Calling all podcast lovers, Booklist Shelf Care, hosted by my colleague Susan McGuire, Senior Editor, Collection Management and Library Outreach, brings all things Reader's Advisory, collection development, and reference right to your earbuds. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app, and be the first to hear the latest episode. They're really unique. They're quite terrific. We're also going to be doing some mini episodes featuring author interviews. And boy, Booklist has so many forms, so many things to offer you. We have a digital edition of the magazine, which you can connect to with your subscription online. This format pairs the page-by-page reading experience of print with the convenience of online access, and it's included free with Booklist subscriptions. Not yet a subscriber? Take advantage of this special webinar offer to get print. See, it's making me hoarse. I'm so excited. To get print, online, digital, and archive access to Booklist for only $99. This is an enormous amount of material. So, of course, we all are enthusiastic about it and hope that you will join us. Thank you again for attending today's fantastic webinar. One more big thank you to our sponsors, Sourcebooks, Harlequin, HarperCollins, and Romance Writers of America. This concludes today's webinar. All the best.